Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gig Money Podcast. I am Cody,
And I'm Andrew.
and today we have the illustrious Brandon Johnson talking with us about his various different side hustles. You might know him from Late Night Savior. You might know him for filling in on a Veer Union tour. You might know him from selling you a vacuum. So, without further ado, Brandon, how you doing?
I am doing so wonderful. It's great to see both of your beautiful faces.
Likewise, my friend.
Likewise. Yeah. So, tell everybody a little bit about your musical background and what you're doing right now.
All right. Well, I started a band called Late Night Savior in about 2012, and that's been my main project that I've been working on. But I've also been in bands like Parish Lane with Cody here. I've played guitar for the Veer Union and done some Sleep Signals tours, and I'm pretty much a whore. I'll just jump on with anybody that'll allow me to go on the road. That's pretty much where my life is. But Late Night Savior is my main gig.
For sure.
You just came home from a tour with Sleep Signals, right?
Yeah, I did about a month out with those guys, and then I flew from Colorado to Idaho to link up with Late Night Savior to do a couple more gigs, and I came home last week at some point. I don't know. The days have blended together. It was a Monday, Tuesday, maybe last week.
It happens.
It happens really fast.
All right. So, Late Night Savior. Everybody check them out. We'll post some links to some of the music that they have put out over the past several years. It's awesome. Definitely got to check it out. But I got to know you started in 2012. You've done a whole bunch of different projects since then. How many tours have you done at this point?
Not a crazy amount. I think it's less than 10.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, let's go to your first tour ever. What was that?
Well, the first tour was with a band called Parish Lane, and it was wild.
I've heard of them.
I know, those crazy guys.
So huge.
I know. I can't remember. It might have been you, Cody, that hit me up about going on that run with you guys.
Well, I feel like that serves my recollection of what happened. Yeah.
Jumped on with you guys after a couple weeks of practicing and hit for a month on the road. That was quite the adventure, getting to know you guys, the AC in the van being out, which seems to be a constant in my life of air conditioning not working while on tour.
That's a common theme.
It seems to be. That's the big advice to all touring bands. Get your AC checked out. Fix it. Make sure it's very important.
All right, you heard it. You heard it here first, kids. Get your AC checked before you hit the road.
Get your AC checked. Bend over and check it.
But you're not any stranger to working outside in the heat, though, are you?
Not at all.
You've done a couple. What do you call yourself? What you used to call yourself an irrigation specialist, right?
Soil Redistribution Engineer and Irrigation Specialist.
See, it sounds so great when you say it like that.
Fancy.
I'm very professional.
What would you actually call it?
Digging holes.
Digging holes and putting sprinklers in.
Yeah, digging holes to drop some pipe, and that's what we would do.
I love that. For
hours and hours every day in the sun. It was horrible. I mean, it was fine, but it was horrible.
Yeah. During the summer months especially, but in Utah, where you're from, the winter time does not work very, very well for being an irrigation specialist. So you would have the winter time off to work on music, right?
That's exactly right. Yep, yeah, I would sit on my fat butt eating noodles and writing music. Worked out.
Nothing better than that.
Nothing better than ramen noodles and music.
So that would be your first side hustle, you would say.
Yes. Yeah.
And so. Okay, so what came after irrigation specialist?
So after irrigation specialist, I moved a little further south and took over your old job over at HCA, doing the warehouse bit, hauling carts around, medical supplies. And then from there, started working at one of the venues in Salt Lake called the Depot. And that's still my side hustle, is working over with those guys.
Yeah, you've gotten pretty far. You're the stage manager currently, right?
Stage manager at the moment, working on a promotion to a production manager.
Awesome.
That
Awesome.
takes a little bit of training, so that's the stage I'm in right now.
No pun
And
intended.
for those of you outside of Utah, the Depot is actually kind of a really cool venue here in Utah, where a lot of really cool bands have been. So, I mean, it's kind of a big deal. Brandon's kind of a big deal.
I'm a big deal.
Now, I remember you telling me a story about another side gig that you had, selling vacuum cleaners, specifically selling 3 vacuum cleaners in one sale. Would you like to talk about that?
Well, all right. So I was down and out on my luck, got laid off from my job at ATK, making angel flares, and we needed some money.
Okay, hold on. You gotta explain what's going on there. ATK Angel Flares, is that classified information?
No.
Do we need to redact that on the? Okay.
So the Angel Flares is just what shoots out of fighter jets to get the heat-seeking missiles away from the jet. So I used to make those for the Air Force for a very brief time.
And then you started selling vacuums.
And then I started selling vacuum cleaners. Started selling Kirby vacuums door to door, and I'm not much of a salesman. I'll be honest. I would walk into most homes and just, hey man, I'm a vacuum salesman. Here's the vacuum. Do you want to buy it? Most people would say no. But one guy, I can't remember what he was trying to do. Watch a football game or something. I can't ever remember exactly, but he had 3 levels of his house. He was like, yeah, sure. I want 3 of them. Bill me. I was like, okay, right on. Great. And I dropped them all off and got the check, check bounced, and we had to go and repo all 3 of them because he canceled the check. But he did clean his house. He cleaned it good because they were very well used. And maybe that's the gig. You just leave the vacuum. It's great. And then you take it, and then it gets a brand new one the next time.
I've never heard of anybody repossessing vacuum cleaners, but knowing how much those things cost, I understand. That's crazy.
I mean, I've repossessed sprinkler systems in the past as well. That's
gotta be difficult. Yeah,
just you got to dig it all up again.
You put it in the ground and you take it right back out.
Oh yeah, you just mad dog their house while you pull the pipe out of the ground, just throw it in the truck. Nah, here. Then the check clears and you have to go back
and install it a second time.
I just lay it on the ground. You guys take it from here.
So in these different jobs that you've had, have your bosses been aware of you being in a gigging band, and how did they respond to that?
Yeah, so I always make it really clear when I get into a job that my main job, in my eyes, is being a musician, being on the road, studio time. So if that clashes with being a part of your business, sorry, but we'll just have to work around it. And I don't know why, but everybody's been super cool with that, and has, like, when I was doing the sprinklers, doing the tours, I would just tell them, and okay, that sounds great. We'll keep your checks rolling in for you. Hit the road. At the hospital, it's the same thing. I got a position where I could come and go as I pleased, which ended up not working out in their favor because I forgot to go for a little while, like 16 months or something like that. I forgot to go back to work. And they sent me in the mail like a 5-year service pin for being a part of the company. And I opened it up and I still work there? That's unbelievable. So I went back and I worked for a day and then I left. But that was the softest firing I ever got, was from that job. They
Yeah. Wow.
they called me while on tour and asked me if it would be okay if they hired somebody else and closed out my position. And I said, okay, that'll be okay. I'm like, okay, if you want the job back, it's all yours. Perfect.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. But having worked in the same spot, yeah, I definitely know they were just awesome, awesome people, and it's it's crazy because you have to feel very, very lucky in that situation that people can be understanding about it when a lot of times that's not the way it is. It's
Yeah,
not like that at all.
very fortunate to work with some really great people and who not just believe that you should be doing this, but really encourage you to go out and follow music, follow your dreams.
So, on that note, what would you say has been your best side hustle experience?
The one I'm in now, I work for Live Nation, owns our venue, and um, again, working with them, working in entertainment, um, they've definitely encouraged me to be out on the road, and it's not just not a problem for me to be gone. They encourage it so much so that I can come back and introduce the things that I learn on the road to make those in bands and other acts traveling through more comfortable. You know, what did you learn from all of these venues along the way that you want to implement at our place? And so that's been super amazing working with those guys. They're really looking out for me.
Awesome. Yeah, that seems like a little bit above and beyond because you can take your experience from the road and bring it back and say, this is what might help us work better as a production, as a venue. And yeah, I think that's great. Definitely happy for you in that position. I think you're the guy for it because you work hard, you do what you got to do, and you're
Definitely
not
try
an
my
asshole
best.
when you do it.
Well, we can get there, but
And you're a damn fine person too.
hey, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, you find out.
It's out. Everybody knows.
Yes, but I gotta ask, if you weren't into music, uh, if that wasn't the main focus in your life, what would be your main passion?
I've always really loved cooking. I would probably be in a restaurant somewhere. I worked in several restaurants and things in the past, and I just always loved that environment, fast paced. You know, you're creating something. I don't know. There's something so fulfilling about just creating something for somebody else to enjoy. So I would say I'd definitely be in a kitchen again.
Be a chef.
Oh, I'd try. I know how to pour cereal really well, so
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. If you're looking for cereal, I'm your guy.
Sounds like you're a pretty good ramen chef too, right?
Oh,
Got the
I'll
noodles.
slay the ramen. I'll slay the ramen.
Years of experience. Years. Yeah.
My microwave gets a lot of work.
Well, you do what you got to do.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you just came off a tour and you've done several in the past. So what has been the craziest thing that has ever happened to you on tour? Was the shining moment of like, holy crap, this is crazy.
It might have been on that first run with you guys um, when we were in New Orleans, and I may or may not have had a little bit too much to drink. And then we followed that girl to the other bar, and Todd had to chase after us in the van. And making it to the other place, I decided, hey, I'm going to smoke a lot and smoke through a couple packs of cigarettes and drink more than any human being should have. But waking up the next day at Lambert's to eat some food, and I was on another planet. Um, but going in, I kept having to, excuse myself to the restroom because everything that I consumed was maybe making its way back. Um, and I was making so much noise that everybody out in the waiting area, they would ask me if I was okay or clap when I came out. And Are you dying in there? Yeah, I'm probably dying.
He made it. He
Um,
survived.
I survived barely, but I'll never forget how funny I thought that place was because they throw the rolls, the hot rolls,
That's just
and
what I was thinking. I
like
feel like you
me
don't
and
have a full appreciation for that moment because you were in another place
I
and
was
we were just
totally
sitting there kind of enjoying our barbecue breakfast and yeah, they threw the rolls and if a server was coming by and you wanted to roll, you just put your hand up. Well, you can probably tell this a little bit better than me. I just think it's hilarious to this day.
I mean, uh, I just remember sitting down and looking across, and some dude held up his hand for a roll. They really wound up and chucked it across the restaurant, pinged this old lady in the back of the head, and she just made the craziest noise. So like I didn't even know that they were throwing rolls at this point. I just sat down, and then hearing this old lady get hit, and fall into her soup or whatever it was. But just the noise she made, oh, I will never forget. I hope I hear it again sometime.
I thought it was going to be a little something more like,
How dare you throw a roll at me?
her eyes would turn bright red and like demons would spawn.
Just so everybody is aware, she was okay.
She
good.
survived
Yes, she was
for
fine.
at least that meal.
Yeah, we don't know anything past that, but she was okay. So
Can't get
it's
into it,
it's
so.
perfectly fine to giggle at her getting pinged in the back of the head with a roll from this Lambert's barbecue spot, which was awesome.
It's a great place. I look forward to going back.
Yeah, definitely got to do that. And then between stops at Denny's, of course.
Ooh, Denny's, and I think I've spent more time in Denny's than any human should. That's my jam. I love that place.
What's your favorite meal at Denny's?
Ooh, moons over my hammy.
That's a
That's
good
Just
one.
great.
because I get funny looks when I order it. Now
But
that
that's on the
Really
menu.
emphasize.
chicken biscuit gravy bowl that's primo stuff right there. Peanut
Well,
butter pancakes. Oh yeah.
oh, Todd loves the peanut butter pancakes, but I gotta say that the moons over my hammy is especially funny because we have a dog that he is a Havanese. He's white. He's kind of chunky, and his original name was Ash, but for some reason we decided that his name was Ham. It was much more fitting to his personality for him to be Ham. And so, of course, with all of those different pet names, you come up with more and more nicknames on top of those. And so eventually he became Moons Over Miami with
I love
the
the
roll on the R that my wife is so good at. Moons Over Miami. I can't do it right. And that's the dog. He's Moons Over Miami.
That's awesome.
And we also have Mashed Potato, who is a
I know
smaller
mashed
white
potato.
dog.
Yeah.
Yes. So, we're sticking with a theme here, naming our pets after our favorite dishes.
I don't know if
love
I
it.
could do that. Be like,
I
come here,
mean,
pork chops.
oh
Come
yeah,
here, pork chop.
that's the way. Well, I named my dog Evan Williams, so it's after
A
bourbon.
different favorite dish 2.0.
Mm. I've eaten a lot of those Evan Williams bottles. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to, especially when you're trying to save some money on tour.
Ooh.
You gotta go with the Evan Williams rather than the more expensive top shelf stuff that treats you a little bit better.
Ooh, yeah. You got to play it kind of easy when you're on tour buying cheap liquor. Um, we started by buying Crown on one run, and we went broke very quickly, and ended up buying just bottom shelf vodka or whatever we could find and mix it. You always have to mix it with something like, I got squirt, and vodka. It's the worst decision.
I think that's how really good drinks get found.
Desperation.
It's like, oh, how did you come up with this great concoction? Well, let me
Make
tell you
the
a story.
most disgusting alcohol taste bearable. And there you go. There's your cocktail of the day.
I don't think
That's
you
a good
can
point.
make Malort palatable. And that's the worst
Well,
one.
you just haven't tried hard enough. That's the thing. You
Oh,
haven't tried
God.
hard enough.
I've tried
Right.
so hard.
There's
Believe
something out
me,
there.
I've tried so hard.
Yeah.
So Cody asked you about your greatest thing that happened on tour. What about a story about the worst thing that has happened to you while you've been out on tour?
The worst thing while out on tour, honestly, could have been this last run with Sleep Signals. It was so hot in the Midwest, like excessive heat warnings every day, no AC in the bus, no windows to roll down. So we're just cooking in this pill. So naturally, we've all got like fans set up. We're all in our underwear, laying in our bunks, just suffering through it. And the fire extinguisher exploded.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It was instantly filled the thing with this fire retardant, and everybody's screaming. Nobody can see anything. And if you know anything about the history of Sleep Signals, they've been through a few pretty scary little runs. So my mind immediately went to probably going to die here. So we threw open our bunks, bounced outside. One dude went through the roof, and there we were, just 5 dudes on the side of the road and one on the roof. While smoke just billowed out of the bus. That was pretty scary, just hearing that noise and everybody screaming.
And they're in their underwear out on the road.
And in our underwear, and you would never believe it, but here we are, all these naked men and our broken bus, and nobody stopped to help.
Wow.
Well, one dude ran up with a fire extinguisher, but
that wasn't helpful.
That was.
How are you going to put out a fire extinguisher with a fire extinguisher?
We got plenty
just
of that
stop
already.
it, sir, please. That's the.
Can you bring a flame?
Please bring flame.
We got plenty of the other.
See, it's funny because it's something as innocuous as it's just the fire extinguisher exploding and nobody was hurt, thank goodness. But absolutely, that had to have been completely like frightening. I can't imagine.
Just chaos.
And I saw pictures afterwards where the entire inside was coated with this white powdery film.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Man, you guys spent all day and maybe the next day cleaning that up, right?
It was a good 5 or 6 hours from that point. And, we were driving quite a long distance to the next show, hoping to cover some ground, but just had to stop. And all of our clothes, bedding, food, everything had to be either thrown out or washed. And then we spent hours just scrubbing the shit out of that bus and vacuuming, stopped at a car wash. Yeah, it was not the funnest moment, but it's a good story.
Absolutely not. But you guys just kept right on going, kept on trucking. You're like, okay, it's nothing serious. We can keep going. And you just made it happen. And I think a lot of people at that point might just hesitate and not continue. But it really says a lot about a musician who's willing to take those kind of crazy things that happen on tour and just keep going and make it to the next show.
That's the passion drive behind it. Things are going to go wrong. You just got to accept the fact that, okay, we're going to have to deal with it, and the hope is you don't have to cancel any shows, because that's the whole reason you're out there. That's, what fills you with enough joy to make all those bad moments disappear, so just got to make it to that next gig and make it happen.
Adapt, overcome, and achieve.
That's exactly right.
Take that bus and drive it right into the aftermath.
Oh, God. I've heard that.
which is an excellent album by Late Night Savior. Check it out. Okay, and moving on. So, advice to other musicians. What kind of further advice would you give to musicians that are kind of wanting to do this touring thing and wanting to get some side hustles going so that they can make a living and get out on the road?
Um, I would say honestly, working your side hustle in music or in entertainment, they're going to be more lenient towards you leaving, as I've discovered. You know, work at a venue, run sound, lights, do that kind of stuff. Like gear your life towards it, and make it available for you. And then when you're finally ready to do the runs, make sure that you have all of the tools that you need for the road, not just for your instruments, but for your vehicles especially. Make sure you have all of that covered and good insurance. That's the biggest advice. Good insurance.
All right. So going along with that, a good side hustle for somebody who wants to be a touring musician might to be an auto mechanic, so that when you're out
That
on the
would be
road,
great.
you can fix whatever goes wrong and just be on your way.
Specifically, air conditioning units. It's
Yeah.
very important to have airflow.
Yeah. Just hire a guy who does air conditioning and teach him very, very simple bass lines, and then he can be in your band, right? Do
Anybody
that.
can do that. Anybody can play the bass. Just find somebody
Not anybody
useful.
can
That's
play
the
the
thing.
bass.
Well, I mean,
Andrew and I were just talking the other day about a bass player who we really look up to, who was playing an 8-string bass
Mhm.
that was set up similar to a 12-string guitar. So instead of just having
oh,
8
wow.
separate strings, they were paired in twos, and they were set up. The 2 strings were a chord of some sort, or a fifth, or maybe even an octave. And, I don't know a whole lot of bass players that could pull that off, because playing a 12 string in and of itself, a guitar, is very, very hard. But the bass strings are like super, super thick, and you got to build up some crazy calluses for that kind of work. So, shout out to all the bass players out there.
All right. Not
Yeah.
everybody can play the bass, but I'll tell you what, there's a very important member of the band that I think just about anybody can do. And that's the guy who presses spacebar. That's a very important role. So find a spacebar player that's also an auto mechanic.
AC technician. Yeah, perfect. Solid advice for anybody out there.
It's always where, all the astronauts hang out too. The space bar.
Ah,
Shame
Andrew,
on
you've been
you.
playing too much Starfield.
Yeah. Did you hear about the introverted astronaut? Turns out he just needed a little space.
So this has been fun, guys.
All right, see you.
No, I need more.
Now,
I need more.
I have never known you to give up on dad jokes,
Oh no.
Brandon.
Oh no.
You can't get enough of those dad jokes. I know this.
You are not wrong. I think many a nights Andrew and I have gone back and forth with our dad jokes.
You can't go
We've had
back
some
and
good
forth
nights.
with Andrew on dad jokes. You can just
he
just
gotta
listen
hang.
to Andrew say dad jokes and
well,
try to come up with something and then fail.
yeah, he has an amazing knack for taking your dad joke and adding a second joke onto it. You know,
It's true.
I always
Ooh.
feel like I say the punchline and he always comes back with, "Oh yeah, there's another part to this."
He's got the inception of dad jokes. It's a joke
It just
within a
happens.
joke. It's got
Mhm.
layers, and that's why we love him.
Well, thanks, guys.
Well, that and the killer
We love you,
beard.
Andrew.
Oh yeah. Look at this guy.
All of his hair moved down to his chin to hear the music better.
Exactly. And now it's getting stuck in my guitar strap. It's kind of frustrating.
Yes. So we're gonna incorporate something and copyright a design that the guitar strap does not interfere with your beard.
Yeah.
So Check that out. Coming 2025.
Love it. Patent pending.
Patent pending. Yeah, don't steal that idea. We'll kill you.
Nobody.
I mean,
We've got
we
it.
won't kill you. We'll just look at you really, really rudely across the room.
You know, you kind of started to touch on something that I wanted to learn a little bit more about. But you were talking about cheap alcohol while you're out on tour. What are some other things that you've done while out on tour to save money, like really extreme things you've done?
I don't know so much about extreme, but you know, if you
Did
go
you
to
wash your socks
Walmart,
in the river?
I've been intoxicated a lot. Maybe. I mean, baby wipe showers are always good. That's a good way to save money instead of $9 or whatever at the truck stop or having a gym membership.
But
Use a
how is
baby wipe.
somebody supposed to shove in a handle of Fireball into a place where you're having a baby wipe shower? Because that's not enclosed like a regular shower. Where's the surprise element?
You got to have shower shots. See, I forget about this. Okay, here's how you save money. You go to Walmart or any grocery store in the city that you're in, look for a K-slot sale, right? And then you buy sardines in hot sauce by the case. And that's all you eat. Saving money.
No. I really thought you were going to say bologna sandwiches.
Oh, God. Bologna sandwiches, as amazing as they are, I don't think I've had one since.
and you'll never
I,
have one again.
on the Ant Farm tour, I think I ate 1,000. It felt like 1,000 bologna sandwiches, and they
Well,
kept me alive, and I appreciated it.
we had to keep your blood sugar up.
I
And
had to keep
for
my blood
anybody
sugar.
listening, we're referring to a lot of different things that happened on the Alien Ant Farm tour, including anytime Brandon would take a shower or anybody in the band, we would break into the bathroom and force them to take a giant swig of Fireball just to keep the party going the whole time.
You can't stop. Can't stop, won't
Can't
stop.
stop. No, because when you're sober, it's over.
Okay.
Or at least we thought on our first big
That
tour with Alien Ant Farm.
that was definitely the mood. When you're sober, it's over.
Yeah, so I wouldn't suggest that to everybody. I mean, it doesn't really save you a whole lot of money just drinking the whole time you're on tour. And you got to be responsible, and somebody's got to drive. And yeah,
Don't get tickets on the
absolutely.
road.
Just don't be irresponsible.
Don't be irresponsible. It'll cost you a lot of money.
It will. It will.
It's good advice.
Yeah. What was that? Was that the craziest way you've tried to save money on tour? The
Sardines and hot sauce feels pretty
feels
crazy.
pretty crazy.
It feels
That
pretty
does.
crazy. I mean, the rest of the time, you know, you siphon some gas. That's not too crazy. That kind of
Out of
stuff.
just random
The
cars.
little things. You know, start buying super cheap $5 bottles of vodka just to keep you. Because if you're drinking enough, you don't need to eat anyways. So, like, that's usually pretty good.
Man, you are just chock full of excellent advice.
just be super hammered the whole time. No, don't do that. It's terrible for you.
It catches up with you. It catches up with
yes.
you pretty quick. You know, couple beverages here and there, but keep your wits about you. So, at this point, I'm going to ask you if you have anything you want to promote to anybody, anything you want to plug.
Yeah. I mean, Late Night Savior, we've been in the studio a ton. So we're releasing new songs, you know, every month or so. Just keep an eye on all of our socials and our Spotify and that, and keep up on the new music. We're going to be pumping out a ton of stuff. We're going to be playing a little tour through Colorado, Texas, New Mexico, Nevada, you know, looping around in our area here coming in November. We're going to announce that pretty soon. So, yeah, keep an eye out on all of our socials. exciting things.
All
Well, you're
right,
not going to
yeah.
need AC for that tour, so that'll be okay.
Well,
we,
yeah.
we hope not.
And for anybody listening who haven't checked out Late Night Savior, their stuff is really good. I would suggest checking it out.
Yes, definitely do
Appreciate
that,
it.
and check out the dates that are to be released for the Southwest tour that they are going on, and definitely catch a show. I imagine that you're probably going to have Grant Evans in tow with that tour, right?
I believe so. We're going to try. For those of you who don't know, Grant also plays bass for my group Late Night Savior, as well as being a guitar player for Sleep Signals over the past few years. So yeah, he's going to be joining us on this run. So if you're just a big fan of him, come on out.
Yeah, we just had him on last week, and it was an excellent conversation. So definitely another reason to go check out any of these shows to catch the man himself
Oh
with
yes,
the
a
crazy
legend.
red beard. Yes. Do you know that he sells Pokemon cards and makes a pretty good living doing that?
He has mentioned it very briefly to me in the past, but I don't know how in depth it goes.
Yep, that is one of the many side hustles that he
He's
has.
got so many.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep, he's an entrepreneurial person just like yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think it's a great fit, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing if I can catch you guys when you come through Texas.
Perfect. That would be awesome to see you.
Definitely. So, final question.
Oh, God.
It's an important one.
Do you prefer waffles or pancakes?
See, somehow I knew this was going to be a question on this because it always has to be. All right. Waffles. They got the little syrup cups. Just holds them in there.
Perfectly portioned.
But pancakes are tastier.
Pancakes are tastier?
Yeah.
Oh, you sound like you're not really certain about your decision here.
I'm going to say pancakes.
You're waffling a little bit.
You stop it. You stop it right now. Let's do pancakes. I eat way more pancakes.
He's pan waffle.
So you prefer pancakes to waffles just by
I think so.
sheer amount that you consume.
That's going to be, see, in my mind, I would say, well, waffles are better, but I don't order waffles. I order pancakes. So that just tells me everything I need to know about myself.
Absolutely.
I like
First one.
Pancakes and coffee with a lot of hot sauce in it.
Cholula.
That's what I like. Cholula in my coffee.
You're the first one that has preferred pancakes.
Yep, you are the first one.
See, it doesn't make any sense to prefer the pancakes, but you know what? How many times do you order a waffle in comparison? I don't know.
Always.
Of course, I hate the International House of Pancakes. So as long as it's, the house isn't made of them, I think it's good. I think they're good.
Okay, so you prefer Waffle House to International House of Pancakes?
Hands down, Waffle House. Waffle House over. Do I like waffles better?
That's what I'm just starting to find out. It's like,
all right, so here's the thing. I imagine, based on this conversation, that you will go into a Waffle House and order pancakes. And that says everything.
That's kind of, that checks out. That tracks. That sounds
Andrew, we need to add this into the ending of every episode where do you prefer Waffle House or IHOP? Because I think that's a whole separate question in and of itself.
Absolutely, yes.
So Brandon prefers pancakes, but he prefers going to Waffle House.
Waffle House pancakes.
Waffle House pancakes over IHOP waffles any day. Any day.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that pretty much says it all.
Right on.
So, yeah, thanks, Brandon, for joining us on the podcast. And like I said, everybody check out Late Night Savior. Check out what's going on there. catch those tour dates when they come through, and we will see everybody next time. Until then, I'm Cody.
And I'm Andrew.
And I'm Brandon. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Pleasure.
It was a
Pleasure
pleasure.
as
Thank you.
always.
See ya.
Every day I'm hustling.